Surprise, surprise, the Sixers got another win versus Detroit Pistons last night. But despite the win, I think I finally figured out what's holding them back. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into it. Without further ado, here's the intro. What's going on, Cliffhangers? We are back with another video off the Cliff Show, brought to you by 14th and Market Podcast Network. We are still on the road to 1,000 subscribers before the end of December. And guess what? It is December, y'all. So we got a month to get this whole thing situated. We got to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you see this video, make sure you send it to someone that is a Sixers fan or somebody. Tell them go like the video, go subscribe down below. It helps me a lot. I would appreciate it. I also think I have something special planned for y'all in this month. Still trying to get everything worked out, but hopefully y'all like it if it does come to fruition like it is in my head. So we'll figure that out. Get me to 100 likes on this video. Also join the Discord with the link down below in the description. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Like I said, Sixers got another win over the Detroit Pistons the other night. 111-96 was a great overall game. It looked like the Sixers finally put everything together. They had the right guys playing. It looked like they've been on a little run where they're starting to look like an actual NBA basketball team. So that excites me moving forward, even though I do want them to tank. I do think this is the year. If you are going to do it, just do it this year. Unfortunately, I just don't think that they're going to be bad enough to tank after what I'm seeing right now. Especially, I think Tyrese Maxey is finally unlocked for the season. Took him a little while, especially after dealing with the hamstring injury. Took him a little while to get back to himself. But everybody is looking like they're starting to figure out their roles, even though there are injuries still happening. But everybody's looking like they're starting to figure out their roles. But I do want to talk about what I think is actually holding them back. Now, there have been a bunch of things that have been happening throughout this season that have held the Sixers back, whether it be injuries, whether it be people not playing, whether it be rotations, different things like that. But there has been one constant that has been bad throughout this entire season, and that has been Nick Nurse. Whether it's the rotations, whether it's the stagnant offense, whether it's him not playing young guys, everything that he has done has been bad this season. He's gone to the press conferences immediately from the start of the season and has looked irritated, probably with Joel Embiid and the plan for Joel Embiid and what's going on with Paul George. He just looks irritated, right? But the main thing and the main problem that I have with and that showed last night is his refusal to play the young players. So Ricky Council had a good game the other night, 17 points. I think he had 6 rebounds. KJ Martin had a great game. I think what did KJ Martin have? KJ Martin had 19.6 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks. Adem Bona finally got some run. We've been clamoring for him to get some type of run. And even though Adem Bona still looks like he's a couple of years away from like really contributing, it looks like he has a role on this team, especially moving forward in the future. But it's time for him to start getting some type of reps. He doesn't have to play consistent minutes, but just get him in there just for a boost of energy, something like that. But him 4 points, 5 rebounds, 3 blocks last night on the defensive end. Yabusele, we know what he does. So it's just a thing where Nick Nurse just has refused to play these guys, and the only reason that they have gotten some run is because of injuries. Even the bright spot in future star Jared McCain only got his opportunity because of the injuries to Paul George, and I think I forgot who else was out, but he only got that opportunity because of injury. It's not like Nick Nurse is trying out different things or trying out different players. He's continuing to roll out the same players. He has this stubbornness about him with playing the older guys. Like, it was the Kyle Lowry injury, but he has this stubbornness with him about playing the old guys like Kyle Lowry, Eric Gordon, who is horrible, throwing Reggie Jackson out there. Andre Drummond has been terrible, but he continues to stick with these guys, even though we know what the NBA has shifted into, and it's more of young players playing, just being more athletic, faster than the Sixers. Nick Nurse seems to go away from that because he just has so much familiarity with Kyle Lowry and just the older guys. I guess he trusts them more. But like I said, the NBA has shifted to younger players, and that's what the Sixers have. That's what the Sixers need, is these younger, fresh legs that's going to bring you energy. Even though I didn't think, I'm not even going to lie to y'all, I was out on Ricky Council. But these past 2 games, it showed you that you just need an injection of energy, especially for a boring Sixers season, the boring as this Sixers season has been so far, you just need the young guys to give you some type of injection of energy to go out there and be able to play at the highest level, and everybody not be so down on themselves, so boring as soon as they like lose the lead, they don't want to fight back, or just something that keeps them afloat to where you're like, okay, I can see the future with this team. Nick Nurse has not wanted to do that. He even still threw Eric Gordon out there the other night versus the Pistons. When Ricky was balling, you had Jared McCain out there. Adem Bono was balling. Like, he still found a way to find Eric Gordon minutes when he has shown he might be one of the worst rotational players in the NBA. I don't think he has anything left. And what's crazy is Eric Gordon's not exactly playing bad, right? He's just not hitting shots. And when he's not hitting shots, there's nothing for him to do out there, and there's no need for him to be out there, right? So it's just a stubbornness that I see with Nick Nurse, and it's going to carry over because he did the same thing last season, especially in the playoffs with the Knicks, when you can tell everybody was worn down, everybody was tired. You just needed somebody with some fresh legs to go in there and give you some type of energy, and he did it with campaign, and everybody was clamoring for Ricky Council. It was the rebounds thing with Josh Hart, and everybody was like, all right, you just need to throw somebody out there that's going to bang over Josh Hart, that's going to give you that same type of energy. And he just didn't, and we all wanted it to be Ricky Council, and he just didn't do it. So something that I could just see it's going to hold the Sixers back. It kind of held them back last season in the playoffs, despite Joel's knee injury. And even the stuff with Jared McCain the other night, he didn't start Jared McCain, and I could kind of see where he was coming from because they didn't have a healthy backup point guard at the time, because I think Reggie Jackson was out, Kyle Lowry is still out. They didn't have a healthy backup point guard, so his thought process is, I'm going to bring Jared McCain off of the bench. And like, I'm kind of cool with it, but there's still a thing of staggering the minutes. Like, you could have staggered him and Tyrese Maxey's minutes to a point where it's him, Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George all played last night. So you could have staggered all of their minutes to where one of them is on the court at all times. And I just don't think, like, he did that. Like, there was no need to take Jared McCain out of the starting lineup. Did I say he was in the starting lineup? I don't know. I forget. But there was no need to take Jared McCain out of the starting lineup, especially after one bad game. It's just optics of it. And you could tell when Jared McCain was out there, he wasn't in rhythm. He didn't run anything for him. He barely got any shots up until I think like the late third quarter. It's just something that you don't want to see from the Sixers' second leading scorer at this point. So the whole him being stubborn, playing old guys thing, my fear is when Kyle Lowry gets back. Andre Drummond got hurt the other night as well. He was playing an all right game, but my fear is when Kyle Lowry comes back, Reggie Jackson comes back, the older guys are all back and the Sixers are fully healthy, he's going to go back to leaning onto the older players. And when it showed, the young guys are the ones that have the juice. Like, these are the ones balling, so you just got to give them some run. There's going to be some nights where they just all don't have it, right? But that's when you lean on the old guys. But right now, the young guys are what's going to, if your plan is to still make the playoffs and to compete for a championship this season, the young guys are going to be the ones that are going to be able to keep you afloat in these times where Joel might not have it, or Paul George is still injured, different things that happen throughout the season. You're going to have to lean on the young guys because they have a more optimistic outlook on the NBA, where you can see it from the older guys where they're like, oh my God, we're losing. Like, it was a bleak point, like a bleak mood around the locker room. You could just tell, like, when they were out there playing, like Maxey was even getting frustrated. Like, after every like little missed shots, little mistakes, they were just not all there. You could tell they were a little bit down on themselves. But the young guys, they like, hey, I'm out here hooping on the NBA court. I'm about to make the best of my opportunity. And that's what you need sometimes from players in the NBA and from stars. You need somebody to keep the spirits up, to keep everything optimistic. And that's what the young boys are going to give you on this Sixers team. If they still do have aspirations of making the playoffs and competing for a championship, that's who Nick Nurse has to look forward to. I mean, that's who Nick Nurse has to look to. I just hope that this doesn't come to bite the Sixers. Hopefully they can win 2 games in a row at some point. We still don't know when Joel Embiid will be back. Paul George is getting back into a rhythm. There's some stuff on Paul George, him versus James Harden, that I'm going to address at some point. I just don't feel like it right now because it's a stupid conversation because Paul George has barely played. But once everybody gets into a rhythm, you can see how good this Sixers team can possibly be if Joel Embiid does, in fact, stay on the court for a lengthy amount of time. We don't know if that's going to happen yet. But My fear is Nick Nurse will hold the Sixers team back because he is too stubborn in playing the older guys instead of the younger guys. But like I said, comment what y'all think about this video, what y'all think Nick Nurse should do. Is he holding the team back, especially with all his offensive sets, not being able to run things for Jared McCain, leading on the older guys. Still going to see what I can do for y'all in this month of December. We're going to figure all that out today. And I will let y'all know. So make sure y'all hit that like button on the subscribe video. I mean, hit that like button down below. Hit the subscribe button. I'm out.